Hey, hey.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
I think our, I've been doing research. I think our water heater might be fucked up.
And we feel betrayed. We
I've had to work on it a couple times before, but I'm not sure now.
raised. Wake
Hold it there. Roll the intro.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Let's change this here. Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. How's everybody's day today? Mariah says, so it's a camper, so it's a camper water heater, so it's a small tank anyways, and it's just taking forever to heat up. It's been hours and hours and hours, and Mariah's like, the water's just warm, but not very warm. So I don't know. It seems like everything goes wrong at the same time, so we'll see what happens when I get home, I guess. I've been doing research on it. I'd like to have an instant hot water heater, but there's also issues with those. Hold on just a second. So they have issues, especially like if you have like hard water and shit. Like apparently they like fucking scale up real bad. I've thought about getting a like a regular house-sized water heater, whether it be propane or electric, I guess, and then running it separately in like an enclosure. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know what's going on with it. Anyways. How's your guys' day? I did some work around the campground. I really want to jump. I know this sounds really weird. Let me show you. I really want to jump on a piece of the road that has fallen down. See this piece of road here? See how that's like 2 foot lower? I really want to jump on that. It's been bothering me for a couple days.
You know, a slave to my white people desires. But I really, really want to jump on that.
I just want to see what it does.
It's like a little bit of the road, but it's just falling down a couple feet. Let me see if I can give you
I think it would stay there, but there's also a chance that I could just ride it down, kind of like a surfboard.
I really want to jump on that.
It's been there for months. Like, it's been that way since the storm happened.
Somebody tell me not. Don't double dog dare me, okay? I really, really have a need to stand on that, and I don't know why.
I think it would support me. What do you guys think? What do you think's going on there? I think almost like a cartoon, like the Wile E. Coyote. If it fell, I would just ride it all the way down, right? Like a big chunk, and then I would just be down. I had to walk down the bank. It's like a 90-foot drop, and then I would just walk over to the bank and walk back up the hill. I don't know. It's bothering me that no one stepped on it or anything yet, and I feel like somebody needs to step on it, right? Somebody needs to say, okay, it's been stepped on, it's good. Or I stepped on it, it fell in the river, don't step on it. I really want to do something there. Maybe I can sit here and just put my feet on it and slowly transfer weight to it until something happens. Either it holds me up or it falls. What I don't want to happen is like be completely on it, trust it, put all my weight on it, and then it stays for like a minute or two, then it slides off the hill. I don't think I'm going to convince a smaller person to do it. I think it falls on me. Okay, I made the video. I've been obsessing over it for a few months. I think it's me. I am the chosen one. That's what Trump says. I am the chosen one. I think by like man code, it falls on me. If someone else would have made the video and I went and did it, then that would be a violation of man code. Thank you very much. Sunglasses perpetually fall onto video game controllers. Proud face. Thank you very much for the $10 donation. I appreciate it. Elise. 777. I don't know. I think that's me. All right. I found this video pretty interesting. We'll watch some of it. Skip around some. This is how I'll always remember you. Wow, people writing my eulogy. I just think this is interesting. I don't even think that people who voted for Trump have any idea what the fuck they voted for. They never do, but here we go.
Complained, not gonna lie.
Obama's cabinet was picked by black
homosexuals in his cabinet, or do you disagree with it?
Homosexuals in the cabinet.
Wow.
Give arguments for, have discussion
A very simple question.
about why people should vote for Harris instead of Trump. But now that that's a moot point, the show must go on. And what I thought would make sense for us to discuss, we're going to keep talking to MAGA people, and I want individuals in the spaces
I don't know anything about Bono.
to remember the rules we set out. Americans only, and you got to be MAGA.
He's Irish, I think.
But we're now going to be talking about from a position of governance of what Trump is going to do, of what we expect him to do, of what you're excited for if you're a MAGA person. What do you think
Sounds like maybe that's Pisco
going to
talking.
happen? I have some ideas about what's going to occur in the near
Okay, Pisco.
term once Trump takes
In a
office.
Twitter
What Trump
space.
is going to
Now, this is only for Trump voters to come in.
do. I'll start. I think that you're going to see a lot of. This will be no surprise to anybody. Executive orders on immigration. I think you'll see a lot of court battles about the scope of those executive orders. I think you're already starting to see a lot of discussion about what those could entail. Donald Trump has a sort of picked quote unquote borders are, which wasn't an official position. It was kind of a term that the media came up with until I guess now he's going to make it an official position.
So this is not like to debate or destroy anybody or anything like that. It's to ask people who voted for Trump intentionally what they're excited about and what they think the next, 90, 180 days look like.
And I think you're going to be able to see some movement on tariffs, which he seems dedicated to doing, which I think will.
We get through the intro.
I mean, obviously, we've already seen that it seems like RFK is probably not getting an official position. Trump basically said,
Seems like RFK is not getting an official position. He's just going to be in the background, and Trump's going to say that he's doing stuff. I don't know that RFK could get, depending on what position, right? They have to have enough votes through Congress to get that. I don't know if he could get through that. Maybe.
off to Nikki Haley and Pompeo, one of which I think Ben Shapiro confidently asserted would certainly be a part of Trump's next administration, which seems like that's not going to happen. So, yeah, I think we're all just kind of like all eyes are on who the cabinet picks are going to be. Yeah.
Yeah, already starting to see some pretty.
Musk is pissed at Trump already. He is mad that Trump doesn't read before. So the word out of the White House was that the president gets daily briefings. And arguably, you could, not even arguably, literally, those are the most important briefings that anybody could have in the fucking world. Where they come in, they do security, they do foreign affairs, what's going on today, terrorist threat, they do everything, right? And they try to condense that down. I know it's probably not super short. It's probably an hour or two where he meets with fucking everybody that he needs to know what's going on that day. And they couldn't even get Trump's attention. He would ignore them. He would rip them up, throw them away, tell him he's not interested in shit. Like, they couldn't even hold his attention through the briefings. So I would imagine that he doesn't read anything before he goes into a meeting.
Well, some people might say business as usual picks. Others might say
And his followers love that he just wings it or whatever. The random stories he tells about sharks and electrocution and the weave, or what, they love it.
hinge picks. I think it's kind of in the eye of the beholder. For people who are expecting, I'm going to sort of, I don't know if shout out is the right word here, but call out the MAGA communist crowd. You guys know who you are. These are the
I think Elon's hoping that all the federal investigations go away. The same thing Trump's hoping, or it's going to make happen, basically.
Jackson Hinkle types. They seem to be disappointed by the pick of Stefanik for ambassador to Israel because they wanted a more pro-Palestinian Trump administration. I don't know what you guys were expecting, by someone who was trying to sell themselves as the most pro-Israel candidate in the history.
Yeah, some people literally voted. So AOC did this thing where she said they were looking at voter data, and whether you like AOC or not, she is good at interacting with people, if nothing else. They looked at voter data, and there were a lot of people that voted for Trump and then voted for AOC, or voted for Trump but voted blue the rest of the ticket, right? Or Trump and then all Democrats, or Trump, AOC, and all Democrats. So she asked her followers, only people who voted Trump and then all blue, we want to know why. And some of the stuff that they said was just wild. Like, they thought Trump was going to be good for Palestine. Like, he's talked about nuking them off the map. Like, you have to go wipe them out and start over. Like, the things they said didn't make any sense. It makes sense if you just ignore everything Trump says, ignore everything the media says, and just make something up, right? Like, if it would be like me saying that, like, I think Trump is not going to put tariffs on China, right? He's been saying it. Everybody's been saying it. He's proud of it. And then I'm just like, I don't think he'll do it. That's the same as saying Trump would be good for Palestinians. Like, they didn't like what Harris did, because Biden-Harris campaign or administration has been supporting Israel, but at least trying to be proactive in the humanitarian portion of Israel-Palestine shit. They wanted someone more left or more pro-Palestine than Biden-Harris, but they went the opposite way, right? I don't understand. It would be like saying, well, I don't like Nick Fuentes because he's anti-Jewish. Let's replace him with Hitler and see what happens. I don't understand it.
History of the Republic. But I also will note Ben Shapiro's prediction on Mike Pompeo, pretty funny. So yeah.
Careful, that wasn't just a prediction. That was him saying he had insider info about it as well, right? So,
well, I guess before we start bringing people on, do you expect, okay, Mike Pompeo's not there.
Mike Pompeo's not going to be there. He's already edged out a couple more people that are not going to be there. Ben Shapiro said he had insider knowledge, right? He had been told from somebody and very close to Trump that Mike Pompeo would be back. Mike Pompeo's not coming back.
Nikki Haley's not there.
Nikki Haley not coming back.
In foreign policy, vis-a-vis Ukraine or Israel, it seems like there was a phone call between Donald Trump and Zelensky, and Elon was on that call. But before we get MAGA involved, what do you think the administration's shift in position is going to be in foreign policy?
I think the scary thing was before Donald Trump kind of has like a child's view of foreign policy, but at least he had like kind of the bureaucracy to kind of massage him in a direction that wasn't wholly destructive or self-destructive. Now I think,
but now he knows that bureaucracy can slow him down, so he's going to try to make it all yes men. Right before, everybody's like, well, he didn't do those things the first terms. Yeah, because there were guardrails in place, and those guardrails came into action multiple times. There are people that testified, like, we had to stop him from doing this or stop him from doing that, or this is the dumbest thing I ever heard. We talked him out of it. Now he's trying to get rid of those people, right? You can just see how he berated the Justice Department after Barr left to fake a letter to pretend like there was corruption within the election or cheating, and they were investigating it, and they refused. So he threatened to fire them all and put some environmental lawyer in charge of the Department of Justice. I think Elon's scary because I think he's probably smart enough just to manipulate Trump into whatever he wants.
Donald Trump understands the second time.
It sounds like he may have even made Trump's VP pick for him.
That he has to staff himself with sycophants. He needs people that will say yes no matter what. So I'm worried that we'll see a little bit more unhinged of a foreign policy. And I guess an unhinged foreign policy, in my view, would be basically a retreat of the United States from the world stage in every measurable form. That would be the scary part. So obviously, like, Ukraine is going to have to fully surrender to Russia the same way that Trump had to surrender to the Taliban.
And we don't live in the same world that we live in the fucking 1800s. These people want to pull back and only support America, which sounds great on paper until crisis is all over you want to talk about immigration and the problem we have with it now? Take away all foreign aid. and see what happens at our border. There'll be enough people to tear down the fucking wall.
We're going to be less involved in foreign affairs, basically anywhere. Anything relating to Southeast Asia and Taiwan is questionable. Anything relating to the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia and Israel, is going to be questionable. Yeah, I don't know. And it's just going to depend on how willing to go along with him are the cabinet picks that Trump chooses going to be, I guess. But
Last thing before we bring people on, Elon's involvement, the oligarchs that people are referencing and pointing out. Let's take a moment to appreciate the fact that Elon Musk now is directly involved, apparently, in the forthcoming foreign policy, domestic policy, government management of the United States of America, the richest man in the world. What are your thoughts on that, Destiny?
Elon Musk is everything and more that the right warned that George Soros would be. I think it's incredibly disappointing and scary that it's such like an oligarchical structure that the world's richest man, who is like the CEO of so many like businesses that are also kind of or can become key or essential to national security, is also like so closely in bed with the president. Like I feel stupid even saying this. Like obviously it's the idea that this man was enriched by billions of dollars because Trump was like all of that is incredibly scary, and it should concern literally anybody that has any care whatsoever for the future of the United States, that somebody who's so financially positioned to have certain incentives, it has such a close relationship with the president.
Well, thanks for that. Welcome everybody to This Is the World We Want. Well, it's not the world right now that Stephen and I want, but I'm assuming if you're calling in, it's the world that you want. And so we're going to start with John. John, what are your thoughts on the election? What's to come? What are your fears? What are your excitements? What's going on?
Hey, I don't really have any fear.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with maybe a house. I don't know if I should just put a house water heater on with like quick disconnects to where I could take it off, and if we have to move the camper, I don't know. I can't fit it inside, so I'd have to build like an enclosure and keep it outside, basically.
We're all just happy. I've been waiting for this for years now. Can I just say really quick, Stephen, I appreciate everything you do. Sorry it's a little cold. I just ran out to my car. I am Jewish, and just everything you've done the past year, I do appreciate it. I will say that right off the bat. But when it comes to Trump, I have been talking to people in these spaces for a year now, trying to get other Jews to vote for Trump. And your concerns of Israel, I'm confused about, because I do
got to get Jews to vote for Trump.
The best president for Israel we've ever seen in my lifetime and in the future. And I'm really excited to see India and America start getting closer with Vivek and JD Vance. So I just fail to see a downside. I have a lot of problems with the way that Democrats don't want to accept reality with the CPI, because I'm like a Bitcoin person as well. My backstory is I played League of Legends for like 12, 14 years. So I don't know. I've appreciated what you do, though.
Yeah, I don't think that Trump was good for the health of the Middle East, but I don't know what else to say about that. I don't think Trump has a coherent.
How could you say that though? Like, I think he's great for the Middle East.
I don't think he has a coherent vision for what the Middle East is going to look like. It seems like everything he does just kind of like ratchets up the conflict. I don't think that he has resolved any of the longstanding issues. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he's moved it on.
The goal is to remove the regime from Iran, and with a peaceful Persia, the world will have peace. Whether it's India,
right? That's why when they say that she was the border czar, her job had nothing to do with like actual being at the border. It was to try to find the inherent root cause. And is there a way that we can influence? Is it crime? Are people fleeing because of crime or no jobs or homelessness or because someone told them to or whatever? And can we help affect any of those root causes in a way that keeps people in their own countries? It didn't have anything to do with her like standing down there and directing us to do whatever.
Just so we understand, is what you're saying, you're suggesting that Trump is...
I'm suggesting we're about to see world peace in the next 4 years, yeah.
Fair enough, but through that, you mean to say there will be a war with Iran that Israel will be involved with and that America is going to need to be involved with? At least.
America doesn't need to be involved with, whether it's Iran, whether it's Russia, whether it's China. One thing we've learned through Ukraine, through any of this stuff, is all of these countries are a bunch of paper tigers, and they've been lying about a lot of things. They're not as strong as they pretend to be.
This is something real quick. I just want to answer this, and then you can elaborate. Is it the case that you're advocating for regime change in Iran?
100%, absolutely.
Okay. And through war?
No, I would prefer any method possible. I just would like to see Muslims not allowed to hold positions of power in countries other than Saudi Arabia.
Wait, what?
You heard me.
And Muslims should not hold power in any... What? Muslims should not hold power in any countries other than Saudi Arabia? Is that what he said?
Including Egypt, Jordan, Iraq?
Any of them.
Any of them.
We started a World War I for a reason. We never really...
I don't know if they know what they voted for or what they believe.
Fixed it afterwards, and that's been the problems in the Middle East. We pretend we don't know what's going on, but there's still a global slave trade. These people are still terrorizing South America, South Africa, Europe, every country across the planet. And honestly, I am super excited because Trump is going to stop them from killing people. And anyone who's against that, I'm just confused, because ever since Obama, we have been working in the wrong direction, trying to appease people who want to oppress other people underneath their religious rule. And it's very strange you guys pretend it's not happening.
I'm seeing some inherent contradictions, maybe not within you, but I was told that Donald Trump would start no new wars, that he would bring only peace. But it seems like an realistic solution if you wanted to see regime change, not just in Iran, but I thought you heard you say every single Muslim country other than Saudi Arabia.
Oh, no, that's just me personally. That's me personally. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but he doesn't want that.
Yeah, no, but it sounds like, would you agree that in any realistic situation that would necessitate foreign intervention and war?
I think most Americans don't understand anything when it comes to foreign things. They don't understand what Ukraine is. They don't understand what Israel is. And it takes too long to explain it to them. They don't understand that foreign aid spending is less than 1% of the budget. They act like it causes inflation, even though they don't even know it begins to start.
Do you remember my question,
isolationists. Yeah, I'm telling you that Trump's not going to start new wars. Like, he might deal with terrorists, but he's not going to go and start wars. No, Israel can deal with the regime change themselves.
It isn't, I'm asking you whether or not these regime change
have their regime change themselves.
I'm asking whether or not realistically, in a realistic fashion, you think that it's in order
to... I don't think Trump's going to go far enough. I would prefer war. Yes, that's me, but I'm the exception.
No, I'm not asking you what you would prefer. I'm asking you, although it's clear now that you support war, that would be what you would support. Ideally, you would support American interventionism. By the way, that sounds a lot like the neocon Republicans.
I would prefer Israel just does it themselves. As for America, I don't really care what we do. I think we have a lot of problems in our own country, and that's why Trump got elected.
But war, in any realistic situation, it would require war.
Yeah, but don't do that thing where you're trying to... This is why people voted for Trump. You try to twist people's words. I'm saying America should focus on America. The Middle East is going to figure out itself one way or the other, whether America intervenes or not.
You say focus on America. You were given complete autonomy to pick the thing that you were most excited about as someone who was supporting Donald Trump, and it was a foreign intervention.
I simply came up here to say I appreciated Destiny for everything he's done. Whether I'm changing your guys' mind about Trump, I don't think I'm going to. You guys probably don't. You guys would think I'm crazy for trying to explain to you why the price of a house went from 3 years worth of your salary to over 7 times the average salary, and most millennials never being able to afford a home.
It sounds like you're deflecting, sir. It sounds like you're talking about the cost of living.
It is every reason why Trump won.
Well, I think so a guy who's like super ultra pro war in the Middle East voted for Trump. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense. Thank you, John. Appreciate your input. And we'll now hear from Calvin. Calvin, how are you? Calvin, you know, my favorite comic book is Calvin and Hobbes.
How you doing?
How you doing, Calvin? Give us your thoughts. Trump's elected. What's going to happen? What are you excited for? What are you fearful for? Do you think that we're overreacting? Talk to us.
No, I mean, you're definitely valid in your opinion. I don't think anyone's overreacting, especially not my friend Steven here. I've been watching him a lot, and I know that he's pretty grounded in his opinion, so I got a lot of respect for him. Pretty excited to be in here. But I guess what I am expecting the most is if he continues with putting all these people in his cabinet that he has been, that, like, you know, as they call it, like anti-neocon people and no, like, war hawks or whatever. I think there's going to be most of it is probably going to be, like, I think the legacy that this term leaves behind will be a lot of back and forth with him trying to dismantle whatever bureaucracy he doesn't see fit anymore.
So which agencies, for example, are you, so just to give you some examples, there's some talk about the Department of Education going away. Certainly a lot of changes are expected in the intelligence agencies where people who are close to the president, such as Vivek and others, are talking about massive change. I mean, Vivek himself, who is on the short list, it appears to be Secretary of State, talked about, you know, humongous reductions in the workforce of the government, maybe 50% or more. Can you be a little bit more specific on your...
I might just get a tankless RV water heater and try to keep up on maintenance. I don't know. I'm afraid it's going to scale up, and then I need if it scales up too bad, it'll just destroy it.
Kind of agency excitement, your excitement for the change in the administrative state of the deep state.
I mean, I wouldn't even say it's really an excitement. It's just like what I think is going to happen is, like you said, the Department of Education. Probably, I don't even know the name of the health agencies. It's probably one of those if RFK ends up getting anywhere.
Would you want RFK in charge of those agencies, the health agencies?
I mean, he seems to know what he's talking about when it comes to health stuff. I know there's a lot of stuff where people might not think that. So I suppose so. I mean, I guess it would be interesting for just 4 years to see what would happen. I mean, as I understand it, like, a lot of people talk about the fluoride in the water, which is just one thing. And obviously there was that study or whatever that came out.
You guys know fluoride's like a natural compound that occurs in tons of things, like fucking broccoli and shit, right?
Within the past, like, year about how it was shown to lower IQ in children, I believe it was. I mean, I don't know if that's going to actually happen, if he could actually take the fluoride out of the water. But, I mean, the department, the FBI, too, I think, would probably be one that Trump would go after in particular, because he's obviously not too fond of the FBI. I think we all can agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if you're trolling. I mean, is there a single health-related policy that RFK has stated that you can identify that you agree with, that you would want him in charge of?
No, which is why I'm not getting too confident with speaking on that. No, I'm not.
So it's when it's twice the recommended limit, maximum limit or more, that it could potentially affect IQ in children.
Trolling, just for the record, I'm not trolling. Yeah.
I don't know, Stephen. I don't know if you have any thoughts here. I think that one of the things we're most fearful of is these people who are, in my opinion, clearly unhinged, a la RFK Jr., being in charge of areas where it could be a matter of life and death. Like, we really want to take out fluoride out of the water. We want to have no more...
I mean, I guess, like, here's the question. We're saying, like, do we feel like overall the FDA does a good job or a bad job?
Probably a good one.
So doesn't RFK have, like, a pretty anti-FDA stance?
Yes.
So isn't that a bad thing then?
I suppose it would be. It's just like, the thing is that I don't think myself or you or anyone really knows when they talk about going in and reforming it. It's just such a abstract term to begin with that I'm not sure if he would be reforming things that me and you both see as good things, or things that we both would see as bad things.
Well, what's an example of something you think RFK would have a
The people that study about fluoride said that it affected were people that live in places where it naturally occurs higher than the recommended level, right? So those places, their water treatment plants remove fluoride because, again, fluoride's a natural element.
better position on than people currently in the FTA?
Well, this is kind of uncharted waters for me a little bit, but I would say maybe with certain vaccines, which I can't get too technical about that or too specific because I really don't know for sure, but I would say vaccines and their effects on children.
Do you think that vaccines have had overwhelmingly like a negative effect or a positive effect on children?
Probably overall positive. But I'm talking about the necessity of like loading up extremely young children with them, and if it's really all that necessary.
Well, what do you mean when we say
Just
loading up?
Like when you first have a child, there's a few different vaccines that are offered up to you pretty early in their lives, as I understand it.
Sure. What's like an appropriate number?
The efficacy of that is questionable.
Yeah, well, questionable by who? Can somebody besides RFK or?
No one that I could reference for you.
Yeah.
This health one is like the least of my knowledge, to be honest.
Sure. What's the one that's the most of your knowledge then?
Probably the FBI.
So nothing related to health and RFK?
No, not really, no.
Okay, so tell us about the FBI reforms. I mean, we understand that Donald Trump had some issues with the FBI, mostly because he was under investigation. But like, truly, what things are you hoping to see different from the FBI under Trump? Which, by the way, the FBI has been running under his own appointee of director for the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Someone Trump appointed.
Yeah,
the FBI
no, I mean,
are looking forward to.
Well, see, the problem here is that if I were to reference something about the FBI, then I would have to bring up January 6th, and I already know that Destiny's going to steamroll me if I do that.
I'm not here to steamroll it. What is the feeling?
Well,
Can't even bring up January 6th because I get steamrolled on it. Well, then why is that a belief that you hold close that something happened, but you know that the facts don't support it?
I just think that, like, when it comes to the FBI, they don't let a good, whatever the term is, false flag or whatever you want to call it, go to waste.
Don't let a good crisis go to waste, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so stuff like that. And I think that, that the FBI probably lacks transparency more than anyone else with the governmental stuff because we just have so much blind trust in them.
Wait, isn't there a watchdog partner with the FBI? It exists under the DOJ. Like, we literally had reports that are audited. Oh, I mean, like, is it the Durham report that looked into the FBI, right?
So they have an inspector general.
Yeah, an inspector general should be paired with almost every federal office. I don't understand what we need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate you telling me that.
Well, is there any conduct with respect to January 6th that the FBI undertook which you thought was wrong?
See, people just feel things with no support, no facts, no evidence. They just feel a certain, like, he's like, I feel like the FBI doesn't have any oversight, and they try to keep people out, and they don't want to be investigated, and no one looks into them. Don't they have an inspector general like every other federal agency? Oh, I appreciate you telling me that. I had no idea.
I mean, well, it's obviously up to everyone's own interpretation whether or not they had people right up front there that they wanted going in to make Trump look worse.
You think that's up for interpretation?
I do, yes.
Let's say that we thought that did happen. Donald Trump was the president of the DOJ and everything with this FBI. It was like his head. Like, how could it seems like Donald Trump wouldn't even be the guy to change it then, no? Because didn't all this happen under Donald Trump?
Well, yeah, of course it happened under him at the top, but there could still be people colluding underneath that didn't want him to be in power any longer, which would go along with the whole National Guard thing that has come up in the past few months.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Wray was there after Comey. Trump appointed him, right? And then Barr was one of the attorney generals. Trump appointed him. So Trump appointed the head of the FBI and the head of the DOJ, which is what the FBI is under. And it seems like all this still happened.
Like, people think that the economy is doing horrible, right? But if you point to any metric, it's obviously on the rebound. And they think that Donald Trump leaving office and Joe Biden getting in office somehow did that. But how did Joe Biden affect fucking inflation in Guam or Portugal? Like, the whole world's inflation went up crazy after COVID.
And so it seems like, what is Trump going to do differently?
When there's metric, like, and we're doing better than the rest of the world underneath Joe Biden's presidency. So when there's a metric that affects the whole fucking world and we're doing the best out of all of them, I just don't understand how, I don't know.
This time.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Fair question. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm just more so intrigued to observe whatever that ends up being. Because I think, like, the main point that I tried to make when you guys first put me on was that I don't know how it would work legally and all that stuff, but I just feel like a lot of the people I'm just going to use the term bureaucrats. A lot of those people aren't going to want to lose their paychecks, basically, which is totally understandable. And I think that's just going to be one of the most interesting things to see happen over the next 4 years or however long it takes. And that they're actually, because it's either that they get all of this done or they don't, and it's like
all of what done?
At least all of like the stuff that I referenced and that you referenced earlier with Vivek was like shutting it down, basically. It's either going to happen in their favor or it's not, and it's going to be a total waste of resources. And
if we think that the FBI, if all the bureaucrats were just interested in holding onto their paychecks, wouldn't that be an incentive for them to just blindly?
I don't know. Doge is down today, so I don't know. It had a spike yesterday. It's its highest spike was what, 44 cents, and now it's back down to like 30 something. I guess it's up on 5 days. It doubled in price over 5 days, almost doubled if you count right now, but it more than doubled if you count its peak. But it's a meme coin. All crypto went up, so all meme coins usually go up with crypto. But it seems like it's pretty saturated, and it's probably going to come back down and settle back down.
They follow the president because he knows, or because he can keep all of them basically in place.
Yeah, it would actually. Yeah, you're right.
So aren't they acting literally the opposite? Doesn't it seem like something is probably driving them more than just their paychecks to resist Trump, rather than for paychecks, in which case they probably just blindly follow him?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think that would be?
Probably love of country, respect for their job, like respect for the Constitution, maybe. I don't know, maybe.
That's true.
A lot of these are really good people. I mean, they have arrested people who were trying to assassinate Donald Trump. They stopped a terrorist attack that was going to go after people on election day. Like, the FBI gets child rapists, child traffickers. It does a lot of really important shit. And I'm scared that if you have like a 50% reduction in force, it's kind of like it reminds me of the defund the police movement. We're going to have more terrorist attacks. We're going to have more bad people. Right. We're going to have more rapists.
I think it's very, 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 very fucked up message to send that Vivek and Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, especially Elon Musk, is going to be in charge of a Department of Government Efficiency, and then Elon Musk holds all of these federal contracts. I don't know. Right, he owns potentially billions of dollars in government contracts, and he's supposed to be the one making it more efficient. Is that not a conflict of interest?
Yes. And that shit makes me angry. It makes me angry because people kind of have this lackadaisical attitude. I'm sorry, Calvin, I'm hearing something from you. Like, let's just see what happens if we turn the knob this way or that way. I think real people are going to be fucking hurt. Same thing with the health stuff. Like, people might die if you don't have the right regulations that are smart and calibrated to achieve certain ends. And so I don't know. It feels like right now you're a little bit ambivalent about what you want to see, and you're kind of just very experimental with what's going to happen.
Sure.
I honestly don't think that they won't. Honestly, think that it'll largely be a figurehead position, maybe where they talk to Trump, and then anytime something goes good, he'll be like, "Oh, that was my department I put together." Anytime anything goes bad, he'll pretend like he doesn't see it. I don't know.
What do you think about that? Or I'll let you respond to that.
Well, actually, because I know that I have limited time here, can I actually ask Destiny a question before I go? And I'll let you guys move on next week, because I know it's kind of going nowhere. Destiny, do you think that whatever agency, I believe it actually is the FBI, finally we're talking about them, who is it that keeps tying Iran back to the assassination attempts on Trump?
I don't know. What do you mean? Are you
Vivek said some crazy shit. Yeah, some fucking absolutely wild shit.
asking which agency is involved or tasked with?
But so I guess people don't understand. Some people would be like, who would want to do away with a regulatory agency? Well, fucking billionaires who have large investments in these companies that are constantly battling regulatory agencies. But they should be, right? We shouldn't have a company be like, well, we make a ton of money for our investors, and the EPA's like, well, fuck it. Just dump everything in the river, right? It shouldn't be so much red tape that nobody wants the job, or nobody wants to do it, or no company can successfully do it. But it should be enough red tape to protect everything else around them.
Saying it's happening, or?
Right, yeah.
I imagine some combination of like CIA and FBI, maybe? Why?
Do you think that there's any validity to people thinking that they're blaming Iran for the assassination attempts to give pretext to encourage war against Israel's biggest enemy?
That sounds like what Nick Fuentes says.
Well, I don't know anything about Nick Fuentes. That's actually just a total question. I'm just curious.
Do you think? I think there would have to be way too many people involved in anything like that to hide something like that, or to make something like that happen.
Yeah, you're talking about thousands, potentially tens of thousands of people for these government conspiracies everybody thinks is happening left and right.
Seems pretty improbable, but...
Okay, fair enough.
And if so, I just want to say before we leave, it sounds like you're totally opposite of the guy we just spoke about who wanted increased tension with Iran. It sounds like you're fearful of that. And so I guess I'm not sure exactly what the position is.
Yeah, Vivek's thing was he ran on a slogan called "Shut It Down," and he was just randomly saying agencies he was going to shut it all down.
From MAGA, or at least from yours, do you think that he's going to encourage war with Iran, or he's going to try to de-escalate with Iran?
I would imagine that he would. Well, the word would be de-escalate, but that would be, of course, like through the same foreign policy that he had before, where it was kind of like it's technically de-escalating because that's what happens, but it's because he raises the iron fist to begin with. But I don't think that Trump would ever encourage like an actual like ground war where American troops have to go in and go to war with people. I don't think that could happen.
All right, thank you, Calvin, very much. Appreciate your input.
He promised in the campaign trail to eliminate the FBI, the Department of Education, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Why the fuck would we eliminate the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which would lay off thousands of federal workers in the process? Released a white paper outlining the legal framework he said would allow the president to eliminate federal agencies of his choice at a whim.
And yeah, have a wonderful night. James B. Politics, memes, populist, MAGA 2016 Donald Trump campaign volunteer. What are your thoughts?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. I don't know, I was like listening. It's more to piggyback off of like Calvin when you guys brought up like what reforms would I like to see to like our intelligence agencies. Sort of like he couldn't really go into depth of like maybe like why he would want reforms. And obviously, I granted, like you said, Ray, is
all the Nuclear Regulatory Commission does is regulates the private sector's use of nuclear energy and any radioactive materials. If we eliminate that, are you telling me that any company can get a hold of it and do whatever the fuck there's a nuclear fuel factory, a plant, Nuclear Fuel Services, NFS, in my town, right? They actually take in uranium, they enrich it, they make fuel rods out of it, and those fuel rods go into nuclear subs and aircraft carriers. So if you don't know, like a sub and an aircraft carrier, if they have a nuclear engine on them, they refuel like years. Like they don't put gas or diesel in them. They refuel over years because the rod sits there and continually produces fuel to be consumed. And it produces waste, but it's a small amount, whatever. Anyways, like we're constantly testing our water, our ground, the air. There's a sniffer helicopter that flies over all the fucking time to make sure that this company isn't having releases into the river or into their creek, or, you know, people are just popping up getting cancer, anybody who lives around the plant. Like, what the fuck? Of course it needs to be regulated.
his appointee. That's someone that he, brought on as a director and things like that. Like, I get that, but it's the underlying like policies, like your FISA courts. And so like my whole thing is a little backstory. I was a Democrat out of school.
Trump also had one of his followers kill her husband with some fucking ivermectin fish supplements one time. So who knows?
Liberal, big Obama supporter. And obviously, like I haven't always been the way that I am, like populist. And I just see like a lot of people just forget about like the Patriot Act and what that created. And I think the reforms that a lot of people in MAGA would like to see, and obviously I can't speak for all of them, but I would say like finding ways to bring more
And I say that as a fan of like nuclear power. I think we should move to nuclear power plants. I think it's safe, it's effective. I think if we can get past the stigma, it'll take us long into the future, much better than coal-powered coal-powered or fossil fuel-powered. And I think there's a way that we can deal with the waste, right? It's not that much waste. It's not nearly as bad as a lot of people would have you believe. I think we can do that as a way to move into the future without burning so many fossil fuels. But it still needs to be regulated.
Like those secret courts and things like that, and the warrants and how that process goes through. Like, I just think that that's giving too much power, in a sense, to those types of courts, especially when you're coming to, stuff that is of national security. Like, I think that's
so if things like the Patriot Act bother you, how do you feel about the fact that Trump like reauthorized it? Wouldn't that be an argument against him?
I'd say that's less of. I mean, I feel like everybody at this point has like re-upped the FISA.
Yeah, but then why bring it up at all? Seems like that's not a reason to vote for him.
Because it's not something he's going to shut down. He reauthorized it.
I just believe that if it comes down to it, just based on the fact that he has been sort of the one that's been investigated by them, it might give them a little bit more of a, I guess you could say, like, reason to maybe stick it to them on those reforms, like knowing like, oh, hey, I know the processes that you guys used against me. Like, I mean, Trump, like, obviously I support him. I know
he has no idea the processes that were used against him. He knows what he's read and what people have told him. I guarantee you Trump couldn't explain how a FISA court works.
He's not like this genius, this like person but I think he knows enough where he knows how they operate. So I would say through him, you'd see more reforms and transparency. Granted, it's
you're going to see significant reforms to FISA under Trump?
I would like to see. I would imagine that reforms in that type of the Department of Justice is going to be.
It obviously needs regulation, so we don't have like a Chernobyl, right? Yes, Europe uses nuclear energy. I think it's like 20 to 30% of the EU's energy output. But when we're talking about the lesser of two evils, it doesn't seem like solar's ready. It doesn't seem like wind's ready. It doesn't seem like any of those are ready. So if we can do away with a gigantic amount, especially as electric vehicles, more and more electric vehicles come online, if we can do away with fossil fuel that we're basically a slave to right now and move a large percentage to nuclear, I'm all for it. As long as it's regulated. We don't want releases. We don't want fucking meltdowns. We don't want crazy shit happening. But I think we're the best fucking country in the world. I think we can regulate nuclear power.
focused on those types of things.
Yeah,
Yes.
here's my problem with that. I mean, it's possible they could write another memo to make it more strict or whatever. But the truth is, like, FISA represents, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act kind of represents a compromise between the branches of government, because it's a very uncomfortable area of surveillance where we want to surveil in the United States, not against people who break criminal laws in the United States, but against people who are foreign actors in the United States. And there's not really good precedent, and there's a kind of uncomfortness about the extent to which that power should exist. And FISA was, Congress's best.
There are plants here now, right? I think there's like 50 some plants, and there's probably 100 reactors because a lot of them have multiple reactors. It helps with downtime. It helps with maintenance. It helps with cooling and heating and warming one up and discharge. Like I even worked refueling a couple. There's just not many of them. And people have this crazy stigma. No one wants one near them. Even the people that are like, well, yeah, I could potentially see that, but I don't want it anywhere near me.
Attempt to have some solution where there were actually some guardrails as opposed to no guardrails. What used to happen was
I worked at a power plant. Listen to this. I worked at a power plant. Let me go to paint and I'll tell the story. I worked at a power plant in Florida that was flooded from a hurricane. Okay? And this power plant was an LNG plant. So basically, I know it was a steam turbine. But so basically it's got this gigantic, how do I draw this? It's got this gigantic rotor, right, that goes all the way through, and then there's a coupling here. And then this coupling comes off of it and goes into a gigantic generator that makes your power, right? And then the lines go out. Now, steam flows into this thing, right? The steam flows in, and it's basically got these giant fan blades on it all the way around. I'm not going to be able to draw them all the way around, but it goes all the way around, and the steam turns these blades. There's a shit ton of power in steam. Like fucking 8-inch steam lines, depending on the pressure, can cut a human in half. Like there's so much power in steam. They don't have another set of like smaller blades up here, and then even smaller blades. Anyways, they use this. Now this shaft here weighs a ton of weight. It's huge. Like some of the rotor shafts are like 6 foot through the center, like fucking 4 foot through the center. Some of them are fucking 200 feet long. They're huge. They weigh hundreds of thousands of pounds. They set on a set of bearings. So you'll have like a set of bearings that go underneath it and a bearing on top, and there'll be like one here. You might have a mid bearing that goes in and supports the weight. And then this is what keeps it spinning, right? It has to sit on bearings. And on these bearings, it sits there and it spins well. Even though it's super heavy, when it's on its bearings, you can get a couple guys to move it by hand when the oil's pumping. So oil is pumped into these bearings, and basically it floats on a thin, super high pressure oil, but it floats in those bearings on a thin oil bath, okay? Now these bearings, some of them can be millions of dollars, right? A set of them. Some of them could be like $400,000 or $500,000 bearing, one bearing. They're very special. You take a ton of measurements and fit these bearings. They have to fit perfectly. They have to seal perfectly. They have to have oil rings in them because that oil's under so much pressure. And these bearings are sets. The company usually buys a couple sets when they buy the turbine, and they send them out. They have them remanufactured. You never leave a bearing uncovered because dust can collect on them, or someone might drop something out of their pocket and mar one of the faces. Like we take care of these bearings like it's a case full of money sitting there. So we're down there doing a major on this plant because the whole plant was flooded and the machine was shut down. But the whole thing was submerged in water, so everything has to come out. We have to inspect all the bearings. We have to look for rust. We have to look for any damage. What did the water do? Now, we were down there for like months, taking this machine apart, one piece at a time, taking everything back to the beginning, just like it was brand new, checking it out. They're kind of like journal bearings. Well, there's different bearings. So you have thrust bearings, you have journal bearings, it depends. Radial bearings, it just depends. But yeah, they're kind of like journal bearings. But anyways, we took it all apart, everything apart. We refinished the bearings. We got everything good to go. We put the whole machine back together. And for some reason, this is the only job that I've ever done a generator generator startup, a turbine startup on night shift. It's always done on day shift because day shift is usually the better crew. Day shift usually has the supervisors on it. Day shift usually has the better maintenance guy on it. Day shift usually has the bigwigs there. I don't know if they expected something to go wrong and they wanted to do it on night shift, and I was on night shift. I don't know if they did something wrong and they expected something to go wrong, or they didn't want the bigwigs to see it. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but this is one of the only jobs that I've done a startup on night shift. So we come in on night shift. We went through our checklist. We don't run the plant, right? We're just there for maintenance to take this shit apart. We work for General Electric, who built this turbine. And when they sell the turbine to a plant, they also sell maintenance packages with it. So, like, you get a major every 3 years. You get a minor every year. You get this, whatever. Anyways, these maintenance packages. I just work for GE. I don't run the plant. So we're on night shift. And we did all of our final checks. Everything's covered. Everything's buttoned up. And when we do a startup, basically we're like running all over. We like the lower level guys. So like helpers and low level turbine mechanics go in the break room. All the higher level guys, like your foreman, your lead man, the level 3 techs and shit, will be running all over this machine, right? Looking for leaks, looking for this, anything. A lot of things you can't fix until it comes back down, but you're still writing it down. I need to fix this flange. I need to fix this gasket, whatever. The operators are in the operator room, and they're starting. Now, the operator that was on that night was young, and he had worked there for 3 years, and his dad got him the job. I like the guy. He was an idiot, but I like the guy. He was young. He started there for he'd worked there for 3 years. He was nervous about it. So he had called a day shift operator and talked to him a few times about the startup procedure and went through a checklist, went through everything, was talking about it. I think he probably should have, he was so nervous, he probably should have called somebody and said, I can't do this, right? I need you to send I'm sorry, but I'm too nervous. I shouldn't do it, because it looked like he was sweating bullets. So he starts up this machine. And basically the way you start a turbine that's hooked to a generator is every generator is basically a motor. It's like when you force an electric motor backwards, it produces a magnetic field that produces current, right? So basically what they do is a lot of times they'll have turning gear, which will keep the rotor turning. They're so heavy, you keep the rotor turning a lot to keep the bow out of the rotor. So he brings it up on turning gear. Everything's going fine. It's very slowly turning this rotor because they're so heavy. If they sit in the same position too long, they're so heavy they'll start to get a little bit of a bow in them. So you bring it up. They just call it bringing it up on gear. So they bring it up on turning gear, and that's just very slowly rotating it. It's just a little engine with a gear that engages, kind of like a starter on a car, and it's just very slowly rotating it. Everything's fine on turning gear. So then he goes to motor the generator, which basically you take power. Instead of the generator putting out power, you put power into the generator, into the outer field, and that energizes the inner field, and it turns it into a motor. And it starts coming back up. He's spinning it up. Everything sounds good. So he stops that. Now we're just on gear. And he starts laying the steam to it, right? So steam is now coming in, hitting these basically like a paddles, like a water wheel, if you've ever seen a water wheel work. But this is all enclosed. All you can see is a big shell over top of it, right? It's all enclosed. You can't see any internals. And he brings it up on gear, or brings it up on steam. And it's on steam. Everything's going good. There's a few sounds and stuff. Like there's a small steam leak. There's a couple things. There's some pressure readings that are out of regulation or whatever. Now my boss goes in there to talk to him. And when he goes in there to talk to him, he sees that we should not be connected to the grid, okay? We shouldn't be connected to the grid. We're testing something, okay? So my boss goes in there and talks to him, and he's talking about some readings that are out of spec. Not my boss, the operator. My boss goes in there and talks to him. The operator's talking about some readings that are out of spec. And I don't know what the readings were. I just know that he was talking. He's like, well, this normally isn't right, blah, blah, blah. So he says, well, I don't know either. I'm not an operator. Maybe you should call the operator back. Okay. So he calls the older operator back, and tells him like these readings are out of spec or something's going on. I don't know what it was, but something was going on with the readings. The operator tells him how to fix it, but tells him that the generator or the turbine has to be shut down. Now, it's not a major issue, but everything's a major issue for this guy tonight. He's only been there for a few years. He's nervous. He doesn't like it. So when he gets off the phone, he turns around to start bringing down the generator. And instead of, he wants to do an emergency halt, which is probably not advised. He could have brought it down slowly. He wants to do an emergency halt, and he goes to do an emergency stop and instead cuts the oil and all the bearings, right? Apparently there's a button in there. He cut the oil and all the bearings. When I tell you, this thing was moving and it was making noise and it was loud, like you can feel a vibration and stuff. Like it's a huge piece of equipment. It's like a piece of equipment. It's like fucking 5 train cars long. When I tell you it sounded like we had been hit with a train, it was the worst sound I'd ever heard in my life. I didn't even know this was an option. It was the worst sound I had ever heard in my life. It sounded like a train had fucking driven through a building and had locked up all the brakes on the way in. Like this fucking thing comes to a screeching halt. Like people are plugging their ears on the floor. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I thought we were all dead. The thing was going to fucking blow up or whatever. And it stopped. It stopped because there was no feed oil going to any of the bearings. He cut all the oil feed. And when it stopped, the rotor that was in there welded itself. There was so much friction, so much heat, it welded itself to the fucking bearings. We had to stay there for like another 6 months and take this back apart. And I don't remember what the weights were, but let's say the rotor weighed like 140,000 pounds. Okay, by the time we got this all apart and we knew the bearings were welded or whatever, we got the top bearing caps off, but that wasn't where most of the damage was because they're on top, right? They're half moon bearings, so you have the top and bottom. That wasn't where the damage was. Let's say the rotor weighed 140,000 pounds. When we were trying to pick it up with the crane, we had like over 200,000 pounds on the crane. And it's not connected to anything. It should just fucking pick up. But instead, it was welded in all the fucking bearings. And when it finally came loose, we were just bumping the crane, bump the crane, get some chain falls and try to do it by hand or whatever. When it came loose, it rocked the whole fucking building. The rotor came up and all of the bearings were welded to the bottom of the rotor and came up with it. I'm sure that guy lost his fucking job. GE made a lot of money, but I'm sure that guy lost his job. They had us take it all apart for inspection, lay everything out, get everything back apart, and then just shut down. That was it. They wanted to bring in this investigator and this insurance company and this regulatory agency person. So we just took it all apart and shut it down. I never saw that guy again. But yeah, he cut all the feed oil to the bearings and welded it in place. It literally sounded like, you know how a train sometimes, like a train car goes by, and what's happening is the edge of the wheel is like cutting the track because it's in a curve, and it's whining like crying, like the loud ass fucking noise, the squeak from that train. It sounded like thousands of train cars doing that all at once. It was the craziest sound I'd ever heard in my life. Not to mention it sounded like the thumps and the vibration sounded like a damn tornado on top of that. Like it was just insane. So I don't know if that guy still has a job, but if you ever see this, I'm sorry about your bad luck. I don't know what to tell you. I made a lot of money there.
President would just bug whoever they wanted, right? That's what they would just do, in the United States, once those techniques were available. And I think people overestimate the amount of individuals that are affected by FISA. In order to have a FISA warrant, typically some very, very high up person needs to sign off on it. The Deputy Attorney General or the Attorney General. Every single one of these warrants, they're high level things. There's not a ton of these that occur every year. And so I hear some very real concerns about surveillance states and about overstepping in terms of intrusion into your life. I would be way more concerned. Yeah, it wiped the bearings. It just wiped them out. Right, it wasn't Babbitt. There wasn't any fucking material left. The ambitious plans to deport millions and millions of people and what that will mean in terms of surveillance state than like the FISA courts, which are overseen by Article 3 judges, where frankly most of these are justified warrants. And the times in which they've been problematic, really, under Donald Trump when they tried to reauthorize the FISA warrants of Carter Page, those, they've come to light, right? They've come to light, and we've had some actual reforms in response to it. So I'm not sure what specific things you're sort of waiting to see from Trump on FISA, and why you care more about like FISA than the massive expansion of a surveillance state that's going to be necessitated by
the fetal. I don't know why there's a fetal like cut button. I mean, obviously you need to cut it off, but you think that like that you'd have to have maybe like registering 0 RPMs, and then even after that, maybe there's like a like even once the turbine's not spinning, maybe there's like a fucking 10-minute period where you can't cut off the fetal. But it is what it is.
Mass deportation. I don't know if any of that makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying. Like,
there's lift oil and there's feed oil. So lift oil is used for high pressure to lift everything, and then the feed oil is in there to keep the friction down. The lift oil is a much higher pressure than the feed oil.
Like I'm not proud of some of the stuff that Trump did. I mean, a lot of the times he has sort of I guess you could say like towed the line on what previous administrations have done when it comes to like strengthening that part of our government. And I understand like its importance, and like
I don't know if I have any. I liked work. I liked that job. If I wasn't going crazy, I would probably still be doing something like that. I don't know if I have any pictures of me on turbines or not, but I'll look.
There's like a lot of, and you guys are gonna be like, oh, you're crazy, whatever. But like my whole thing that bothers me about like the intelligence agencies, and I get January 6th. Like, I mean, I know you're gonna bring this up, and as Destiny's quite good at this topic. There was obviously FBI agents in there, so it's like that transparency of stuff like that. I mean, there's other examples. You guys could bring up an example of maybe something Trump did with the FBI under him that is similar stuff. Like, I obviously don't want Trump doing those things. Like, I just think stuff like that is, and you always look at, I get like they do foil a lot of like terror plots. Like, no lie there. Like, I think that for the most part they do their job. But there's certain things that came from like 2016 and the.
What do you mean when you say they're FBI agents? What do we actually mean when we say this? Do you think that like the FBI planned this against Trump?
No. I'm saying that. I mean, I don't know. Won't go into too much detail. Maybe if you're willing to speak privately, but there's just stuff that they do where they go into certain groups, and obviously they monitor these groups, correct?
Yeah.
Like that's what they do.
Like terror cells.
Yeah, and like obviously with the Telegram chats, like your right wing, like all those groups, like the eco fascists, like there's a lot of different groups that they have to keep an eye on. Like I fully understand that, but I'm saying, like the transparency about more information of what they're doing while in those groups. Like, are they, you know what I mean? That part of transparency. Like I get they need to do these things, but no.
Here's a little one. Here's a little. This is a little steam turbine. There's some rotor blades. How tall is this? This is probably, if I was standing on top of this board, this is probably 6 or 8 foot tall. So it's probably 15-foot rotor in this LP section.
What do you think that? Do you think that they don't report to their superiors in the FBI?
No. I'm not saying they're more transparency to people, not to like.
So do you think that the FBI should publish publicly everything that they're involved in?
To an extent.
Wouldn't that literally defeat the entire purpose of having the FBI?
Well, I mean, you can redact certain things, but I'm talking about like tactics. Like, there has to be some way of being like.
If you made every tactic available, and wouldn't that just make it so that everybody would know how to avoid?
Well, not entirely. I mean, those. I don't know. You don't at all think that there should be like more transparency in that way?
I think that transparency is a meaningless buzzword to throw around. But you're making it sound like they should publish all of their strategies and tactics, which kind of defeats the entire purpose of having like an intelligence agency that monitors people.
No, maybe not tactics. Like maybe we had X amount of people involved in this. They maybe because they don't openly admit how many people were there during that January 6th.
Well, not in an open hearing. Yeah, of course. Why would you want to reveal the exact number of potential informants or potential people that you have involved in a thing publicly? Why would you just give up all that information? Wouldn't you be destroying your ability to like perform intelligence operations if you gave up every single person involved in these operations?
I don't know. You're probably showing your hand in some way, sure.
Okay, can you think of a single other country, organization, entity anywhere in the world ever that publishes information like this?
Israel.
This is the plant out in where is that? It's in Texas. It wasn't Marble Falls. It was Seguin, Texas. This is the plant out in Seguin, Texas that we were working. I didn't post a lot of pictures on Facebook back then, I guess.
they'll publish certain things. correct?
Israel?
We're really gonna go with the
Those are all
Masonic,
gas
all the
turbines, so.
stuff they do. That's the example you want to go with.
All their
example,
stuff.
James.
Not all their stuff. Not all their stuff. I mean, I guess like
So you're asking for something that has never been done, probably in all of human history, with any intelligence organization across any part of the world.
there's a first for everything, my friend. Why not? Why not start? I don't know.
Why not?
I just
Well,
think
why
there's a
not?
lot
Because
of
you probably wouldn't want to give up your ability for your law enforcement to function at all, right? By having them publicly post every single thing that they do and are doing, right? I mean, you can do a FOIA request if you want to access certain information. We've got congressional committees that can subpoena people and bring people in to ask them questions. You've got closed committee hearings. You've got your whole chain of command. You've got your Office of Inspector General. You've got your heads of the DOJ and FBI. Like, I mean, there's tons of people that have oversight over these. Like,
Yeah, I guess obviously if there's anything going astray, you'd probably, no matter what ideology or belief that person in power might, or that position might have, will probably not allow such things. I guess it's just, there's like just that mistrust, you know?
Okay, so we should destroy. Yeah, aren't you being fed the mistrust?
I think both sides do it, to be honest. I don't think it's just one. I know Trump exaggerates a lot.
Can you give me an example of a leader, like a lawmaker on the left, that attacks the DOJ as much as Donald Trump does?
Probably not.
Can you think of a major,
I would say I would rebuttal with how many Democrats or left-leaning politicians have, I guess, been this heavily investigated.
How many of them have committed? How many of them have committed? Do you think the same level of crimes?
I would say maybe not the same crimes, but I would say that I would say people in Congress probably have
Can
committed.
we just think of like one example, just one example of somebody?
Like anything, like just anything random, like pick a politician.
Okay, Hillary Clinton. Was she investigated by the FBI?
Yeah.
Were the results of her investigation made public, even though no charges were recommended against her?
I mean, yeah, there should have been. Do you agree that there should have been charges?
No, there shouldn't have been. She did no crime. There's no evidence of that. What crime do you think she committed?
I mean, she did wipe. Her server did get wiped.
Yeah, but all that was.
It got wiped, but there's no evidence that she directed it. Do you think she should be in trouble if there's no evidence that she directed the server wipe?
I don't know.
Why is Elon Musk appearing in Trump family photos, but Melania isn't? That's weird, right? You think his wife would be in family photos, not Elon.
You don't know. So if there's no evidence that she
I guess
directed it,
obviously no. If you can't pinpoint that it was her, but
so is there any other evidence that you think that should make it so that she's charged with a crime?
no, I mean, I'm
So it's an
talking more.
appropriate decision.
Nancy, would you say that? And you're gonna be like, oh, here we go. Would you say that based on like? Do you believe that like Nancy Pelosi maybe insider trades?
Well, on what evidence?
I mean, based on like the sale of like MasterCard coming out before, like just stock trading, like how she's traded. Then you can sort of like correlate with certain things getting.
The fact that the stocks that her husband owns performs better than anybody could ever perform.
Well, I don't know that it's I don't know. So insider trading, there are
can't.
specific definitions for it. Usually requires trading on material non-public
Sorry, Spicy. Sorry.
information, but I think
just
there might be an
can't.
exemption, or it might not apply in the case of information obtained in your role as a congressperson. And so,
Wait, hold on. No, wait. To be clear, there's no way that's true. You can't insider trade based on.
No, like if you say, for example, I almost called you Pisco. I'm Pisco. Say, for example, like you learn that you're about to pass a piece of legislation, or you learn from some, in the course of your duties as a congressperson, you have access to certain information. I'm not sure that those are the insider trading laws apply to you with respect to that information. I'm not sure about.
I don't think Melania wants to be there. She signed a prenup. She renegotiated her prenup to be part. I don't think she loves Donald Trump. I don't think she wants to be with Donald Trump. I think she's in a contract.
That's why AOC, and I think in agreement with Ted Cruz, wanted to pass a law to cover what they thought was a loophole. That's why I'm saying that, because they wanted to pass a new law to prevent.
So these tankless water heaters are anywhere from like $400, $500. Some a little bit more expensive than that. I wouldn't mind spending that much if it worked, like instant hot water, like forever hot water, like they advertise it, and didn't break down in a year.
Prevent that.
Yeah, and even so, let's say that there hasn't been any credible information that has shown that anybody is engaged in Congress and insider trading, hasn't been charged with it, right? Just because some people might, like Pelosi's husband buys and sells a ton of shit. He manages a huge either personal net worth or a fund or something. He manages a ton of assets. But let's say that I even granted that. Let's say that we granted, okay, maybe some of these people do insider trade. Wouldn't Elon Musk and Donald Trump being billionaires and having such huge financial stakes and other things be like the same type of thing, but even worse?
Probably. So
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Like Elon Musk.
I'm not gonna like argue against that. Yeah, obviously that's
he's taking calls. Real quick, James. He's taking calls with like world leaders. He's going to be involved in all of these companies. He's not divested from Tesla. He's not divested from X. He's going to be like in the room with all these major decisions. And if you see like his stock prices are just going up, doesn't that like concern you way fucking more than whatever shit Nancy's pulling?
I probably not, because I would still say like based on Nancy Pelosi's like power and like how the structure would work, like she's still relatively powerful until the Congress changes. So
sure. It's just interesting to me that like Pelosi and the venture capital firm that Pelosi's husband runs is worth like $120 million. And I think that they're worth like $250 million together. And Musk gained like over $50 billion since the Trump election. So it just seems like if this is something that we were concerned about, like, damn. I just don't see how, if there's a motivating thing to vote on, it feels like.
I don't think you're like wrong there. I guess it's, I mean, I feel like no matter, and this is what sucks about our political system, it's probably the most frustrating. I think we can all agree. Like both sides, whether left or right, they have an issue with like, you know, billionaires are all intertwined in both parties, and that's probably the saddest part of it. Obviously,
when you say billionaires are intertwined in both parties, what can you give me an example that's even remotely close to the level of intertwined? Like, you remember we complained about Twitter being unfair to Republicans? How would you have felt if Biden would have made like Jack Dorsey part of his like cabinet or part of his like running like campaign or whatever? If Jack
I would have complained, not gonna lie.
Or what about Mark Zuckerberg would have been part of that? But like also that's not even like Elon has done way more than just been made part of that committee, right? Like he's been actively campaigning for giving millions of dollars away.
A lot more.
Photo, commandeered an account in order to promote.
I know you got me there. I'm not gonna. At least I'm not denying it. I'm not trying. I admit that it's a conflict of interest, and I think it just gives another depiction of sort of where our political system is with the, you know, that part of things. But yeah, it's obviously you are right there. But I mean, I don't know.
I'm concerned this motherfucker's gonna get like government contracts. He's gonna be like funneling all the different.
But let me ask you something. Like, put all the election stuff aside. Do you still like think the stuff that Elon's done has been like good for like society as a whole? Like,
no, I don't know about Steven.
I mean, I think Tesla and SpaceX are amazing companies. I think that X has been a disaster for the human race and maybe even for the United States. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's
I think Tesla and SpaceX are cool as companies, but the X stuff is fucked, and he's spreading. There's no excuse for this too. He is spreading blatant lies, never calls himself out over them, and has zero fucking shame, just like Trump. It's like I don't know. It's a poison to our society.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I mean, he definitely is.
Dude, remember the Paul Pelosi thing? He tweeted like, "This is a very interesting thing. Like, it looks like Paul Pelosi was with a gay lover." Remember that shit?
Yeah, no, that like I get like obviously both sides troll each other. Like we all do it, but like there was some certain things from the right when it came to that where it was like people weren't being like they weren't trolling. They were like, oh yeah, you know, it's like the QAnon nutbags. You know, I mean, they still exist, sadly. But
if you had to make a decision or choice, who do you think does more of this kind of misinformation peddling, the left or the MAGA right, or the equal, or you can't tell, or you don't know?
Well, I mean, I think so there were certain things like that. I feel like both sides always, you know, twist the truth or, you know, they got.
I'm asking about the quantity. Who does more or less?
I think just how things are, I think it's going to be equal, to be honest.
Okay.
Can you think of a single thing that's the equivalent of like the election denialism that Trump engages in?
Well, there is that thing going around that's sort of weird, and like I'm sure you've seen it, that like Starlink thing with the satellites. Like that's probably the closest thing from like.
So one is a Twitter conspiracy, the other is a belief that is shared by 80% of Republicans and is pushed by the president and his billionaire friend Elon Musk. Do you think that's equivalent?
No, I'm just saying that was just my example.
Well, sure, but is there anything that's even remotely equivalent to that? The 2020 election being stolen and the 2016 election being illegally voted on by 3 million illegals?
I can't really speak on it because I'd have to go back and look at like how things sort of went when they had the Gore and Bush stuff. Like I don't really know like how the left reacted to that.
So the left reacted by conceding the election and giving up their right to a recount on like December 12th.
They never even got a recount, James. Al Gore never got a recount in Florida. How fucked is that?
Well, I was fuck. I guess that would be, I don't know.
Like Trump gets an instant recount in 2020. He gets a trillion recounts. Al Gore never even got one.
Well, I will say, to be honest, like the one thing that bothered me about Trump, especially like being a volunteer, like back in 2016, was like he surrounded himself with those like crazy ass QAnon like lawyer people that were just like complete nutbags, and you could tell. And obviously,
he still is, James. You know who's one of the people tapped to be AG? Is like this guy talking about how he wants to see the enemies of Trump dead on the street.
I will bet $100 right now that he doesn't pick that guy. I hope to God he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't do.
Someone more sane than that.
But it's probably gonna be someone unhinged. I don't know. I feel like it'll be an unhinged person.
If he can just not listen to those people this time around and not bring in the neocons and stuff like that, I don't know.
He's bringing in Stefanik, and he's bringing in these other people who are like, well, anyway, I'll give you the
I'm curious. Actually, wait, for the last bit, I'm curious. So what are some things that would happen where you'd be like, oh, Trump had a good second presidency? What are things you're looking forward to happen? Not like effects, but like things that you want to see Trump do.
Oh, man. If I had to choose one of his policies that I actually want to happen, would probably... You guys aren't gonna like.
Wait, Marco Rubio was just tapped to be Secretary of State by Trump.
What?
Like they're reporting that it's gonna be Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and you're saying he's done with the neocons.
I hope not. Oh boy. Well, I don't know. That took the wind out of my sails, but I guess it would be immigration. So.
What do you hope that he does about it?
I mean,
like, here's a question. Would you think it's a success if Donald Trump makes it through these 4 years without getting any legislation passed relating to immigration? Could he still be successful on it?
No. He has to do as much as he can the first 2 years. And obviously he needs 60 votes, so he's only going to be able to do certain things like your tax reforms and things like that. He's not going to be able to do any of the bigger legislative things that you need, to 60 votes for. So I'm realistic realistically, I hope he gets the tax policies passed. And that's probably the main thing, at least in the first 2 years. And executive orders, I hope he opens up more for energy, brings back his previous ones that Biden got rid of. So.
Well, thank you, James. I think we'll leave it there. Although
I swear I don't even think these people know what they fucking voted for.
I think Destiny, both and I disagree on the energy thing. We think Biden's been pretty good on domestic production energy. But let's move on. Yeah, thanks, James. Let's move on to Mike Rollins. We brought in Mike Rollins. MAGA.
What up?
Yeah, what up?
What up?
That's what I've been talking about when I talk about a tankless water heater. That's what I've been talking about the entire show.
So the whole Elon thing is weird to me when Obama's cabinet was picked by BlackRock.
Ooh.
Say more.
BlackRock pickers. This guy's going to be good. I can already tell it.
When you say it was picked by BlackRock, can you describe what you mean by that?
Yeah, the email filed cabinet recommendations that came from BlackRock matched Obama's eventual cabinet at like a 90% clip.
Can you give us a link to how you know this?
WikiLeaks, key search, cabinet recommendations.
I mean, what do I Google to find this on Google?
You go to the WikiLeaks DNC.
No one reported on this?
Email. Huh?
No one reported on this?
No, why would they? BlackRock owns the media.
Oh.
True.
They won't report on that. I just feel like we got to have higher expectations for both sides, bro.
So to be clear, I'm not finding anything about this on Google, and I wouldn't expect to find it on Google. I have to go to WikiLeaks?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the email dump. The email's titled cabinet recommendations. Like, some liberals know about this. You could probably key search it in Twitter, too, and see about it. But it's like, it was a point of contention.
Which email? Was it the Hillary Clinton email dump?
Yeah, it was in the DNC general hack. So the one that, I forgot if they said North Korea did it. It wasn't Assange, I don't believe.
So we're looking for the terms BlackRock, right?
Cabinet recommendations.
So I search cabinet recommendations.
Yeah, cabinet recommendations or cabinet references. It's almost a 90% match. If not, I think it's one person was different, but I'm not recalling who.
These all are like 2016 stuff, right? I mean, that's when.
Yeah. This is way back. It's a moot point now, but I'm saying.
But why would this be Obama stuff? I mean, his presidency started in 2008.
No. WikiLeaks has shit. Dude, when they hack their emails, they have shit in there from like 2001. They have shit from the Gulf War, a lot, like even further back.
So you're directing me to an email from a person, and that person represents BlackRock. How do you know this?
Yeah, perfect. It's in their name. You could look at it like this wasn't even. It's not a point of contention. The matter, like the debate more, the conversation I wanted to have about it would be, why aren't we holding all of our politicians accountable? Because everyone's, had aristocrat influence. I guess you could say, or corporate influence, whatever you want to say, conglomerate. They all have it. So I feel like we should be holding everyone more accountable.
Well, I'm just gonna call bullshit on your claim that BlackRock selected all of Obama's cabinet. I believe that is bullshit. I believe that is a lie. And if you're able to produce evidence that I'm incorrect about that, I will send you $500.
Okay, yeah, I got you. I'll PM it to you.
Yeah, DM it to me.
I mean, but you can't say then, because that email is completely real and it did line up with his cabinet.
If you can produce that email to me and it purports to be what you say it is, I will send you $500.
I'll PM it to you, bro.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
So
you're not betting anything. I don't need anything from you.
No, yeah, it's good.
Okay, perfect.
I'll PM it to you, bro.
Yeah, and by the way, just so you're aware, if it's the case that it doesn't purport to be what you say it is, what does that tell you about your information stream?
I don't know why you would be attacking my information stream, bro.
If you're wrong about this, doesn't that call into question where you're getting your information from?
Absolutely it would, but I'm not wrong about it. Okay. And also, WikiLeaks, dude, somebody went to prison for that information. So, it's not just...
Can I, hold on, because I'm desperately trying to look up. So it looks like not BlackRock. So it looks like it was a guy who was on the executive board of Citigroup. How do we know that this email didn't come after long deliberations between people with Obama and this guy, and this was a final list of recommendations that was made? Why are we thinking that it was unilaterally chosen by this one guy?
Wait, it's not. Can you put it in or can you pin it up to the space?
I don't know how to do that. Hold on.
Because I'm trying to do that. I'm looking up at it.
Pisco, how do I?
It might not be the one. I mean, this is like a 25,000 email dump.
I found an article on this. I sent it to you.
It's from World Socialist website.
Sure, but it's a memorandum revealed by WikiLeaks and a recent document released in the email account of John Podesta.
I got this info from the leaks, dude. I didn't go look up QAnon or World Socialist, whatever. It's not something I was fucking deliberately looking for. I feel like, dude, until you keep denying there's this level of corruption which has become obvious, for years and years. The finders not being held accountable should have told you enough about what our government and intelligence agencies were up to.
The finders.
And it's not a left and right issue. I would just I
don't understand what the corruption is here. I don't get it.
Well, in that instance, in terms of the finders cult, the FBI basically caught the CIA.
No. I was just focusing on this email thing. So like, let's assume, which I've so far I've had no reason, but let's even assume that some guy working with a bank, Citigroup or whatever, sent an email to Podesta that was forwarded to Barack about here's like potential.
Isn't Citigroup vested in BlackRock?
What do you mean vested in BlackRock?
Citigroup's owned by BlackRock.
A 100% subsidiary? The entire company is owned, or are you talking about like assets under management include shares of Citigroup?
No, yeah. It's probably more likely BlackRock has a slice. I mean, but that's still.
That doesn't mean anything. Right?
Okay, so Citigroup. So what changes if it's Citigroup doing the lobbying? Which I don't.
Well, I'm just saying, like, let's say, you know that I own a slice of BlackRock, right? Like anybody can buy a share in a company.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
Publicly traded.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, let's say theoretically there was an email that was shipped from an executive from Citigroup. Like, these are cabinet level picks that still have to be confirmed by the Senate and everything, right?
Yeah, but I agree that my thing is the whole entity is corrupt and working in this fashion.
What's corrupt about that, though?
So Trump's cabinet picks, I don't believe, were genuine choices from Trump.
Okay. Why did you vote for Trump over? Did you vote for Trump in this election?
Not in vote.
Okay.
They were teal choices.
So you don't support Trump?
No, I think Trump has the best chance of cleaning the country up for sure.
How can he have the best chance if he's like the one with the most like assets at stake? If he's a billionaire whose assets are essentially held hostage by the global elite, and if you think that his own cabinet picks became Peter Thiel?
I think this time around, Trump's exerting a little more influence, and he showed me that by kicking out that warmonger Pompeo. I think Trump's going to do some good things. I judge Trump by his enemies. All his enemies, seem to be very degenerative. A lot of them were pals with Diddy, pals with Epstein.
Isn't Trump literally one of the most degenerative people?
Trump was a huge degen for most of his life.
Like more so than anybody he was running against, right? Like more like
Trump wasn't. No. I don't believe he was.
Who's more of a degenerate, Trump or Kamala Harris?
Ooh, I would probably say Trump, but I mean Kamala's not a beacon of light.
Okay, so Trump was more. Who was more degenerate, Trump or Biden?
Probably Biden did. Biden was an open racist for
you think
a long
open
time.
Racist?
Yeah, Trump. That's another thing. I don't want to get necessarily too much into conjecture about it, but I'm saying one thing that spoke to the Trump-Epstein connection for me, because that was something I fleshed out. That was a huge question mark with Trump for me. He was the only guy publicly who said, he wasn't a fan of Epstein long before even Epstein's first case.
Probably because he said something bad about him.
Nobody else called Epstein out. Nobody really called Diddy out.
I mean, didn't Epstein also come out on a recording and say that like him and Trump are really close friends?
I'm saying judge Trump by his enemies. I'll give you one. Hillary Clinton, enemy of Trump. Why was Hillary Clinton in contact with the Black Cube about harassing accusers, people who accused Harvey Weinstein during Me Too? So like none of these people are liberal in the classic sense. They're shills. Like Hillary doesn't believe in the stuff you believe in. She was protecting predators her whole career. Her husband was one.
I'm sorry to bring it back to this, Mike, but you're so full of shit. I just looked at this email from Citigroup, which by the way is not BlackRock, and there are a bunch of different candidates listed in every single position. Some of them are prominent names because they were, with Obama, but it's not at all the case that they just predict every single person who's on the cabinet. That's a complete lie. There's, for example, just in the State Department, there's Chris Dodd is nominated. He never was Secretary of State. Under Energy, all these positions have multiple names attached to them, and a lot of these are prominent people. Just like people are predicting who's on the cabinet right now for Donald Trump, and people are predicting right now doesn't mean that there was any conspiracy in who they were going to.
No, that's not true at all. I have someone in here who just hit me up on the side who has the documentation.
No, I'm reading it. I'm reading the attachment. It's no. You represent me.
Okay, but there's a guy in there who you might. I mean, we made the little deal about the. Guy in there. There's a guy in here right now who will prove me right now. Back up decent. Give him the mic real quick.
Oh yeah. This is our singer.
Yeah, guitar guy. Very talented.
Back up decent. How are you doing? You were been, picked by Mike. He said that you're going to substantiate the claim that BlackRock selected every single member of Barack Obama's cabinet in 2008.
I did say every single member.
You did say it.
I said at a clip of 90%. You can play the space back.
Okay, 90%. Back up. I mean, I'm reading this right now. For example, for Commerce, there are 4 different people, all with slashes next to them.
Hey, can you hear backup?
No, he's not. I don't know. He was pushed out or something. I added him again.
Tried to bring him back up. But wait, you don't think that, like the thing with Clinton and Weinstein, that doesn't speak to you of a mass underweb? You being involved in intelligence agency?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know how fucking triggered they get when anybody mentions deprogramming? But how do you get people out of a cult? Some of these people I used to have respect for. I don't anymore. But how do you get people out of a fucking cult?
You said black something about Weinstein. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what the black cube is, Pisco?
What's the black cube?
Oh my god.
So dude, it's like I'd rather have this combo with Destiny.
Somebody posted the other day and started a political post when I was just asking about It was one of Mariah's family members when I was just asking about if we were going to be upgraded from disaster area 2 to disaster area 1 because you get like individual support versus, support for municipalities or whatever. They started a political post because someone said, make sure you vote for Trump. And I said, I'd vote for another flood before I'd vote for Trump. They're like, you're voting against your own best interest, right? This, that. So it was family and I didn't want to argue. So I just deleted the comment, right? No harm, no foul. It's just gone, right? And they send me a message and they're like, I thought you were all free speech. I can't believe you've changed. You've done this. Shut the fuck up. You think you're going to fucking talk to me like this? You can eat a whole ass bag of dicks. But they got really fucking triggered because I was like, and I tried to explain it to them. I was like, look, I was probably going to be a dick when I responded. I just thought it was better just to delete it. Then I didn't respond. You didn't have nothing to say. We're good, right? Nope. That wasn't good enough.
You're engaging in whatever.
They want to tell me how they look into politics once every fucking 4 years, and they're like, well, Donald Trump would do. Shut the fuck up.
You're engaging in.
Ad hominem and gift gala.
That happened, bro. That happened.
Donald Trump's going to get your fucking goddamn teeth knocked in. That's what's going to happen.
What did Hillary Clinton was.
Yo, Mike, can I jump in right quick, dude? Black Cube is one of the two firms that was hired by fucking David Boies on behalf of Harvey Weinstein. The other one was K2 Integrity, founded by Jules Kroll. I've been listening to the conversation. Sorry I wasn't able to get in the first time. I had a problem with the connection. But K2 Integrity, founded by Jules Kroll, it hires basically IDF, Mossad, FBI, NSA, GCHQ, all these kinds of assets. They are who he hired to discredit Harvey Weinstein's accusers. Destiny knows exactly.
Who hired?
Harvey Weinstein's attorney, David Boies, hired Black Cube and K2 Integrity.
Black Cube is a famous former Israeli intelligence officers run this company, right? It's a risk management company for politicians or anybody accused of financial crime, CEO, shit like that.
To discredit his sexual assault accusers. And as far as the vaccine...
with Hillary Clinton?
I was adding...
Yeah, I thought I was... Hold on, I can read some of this. I thought I was being nice about it. Hell no. They got a fucking attitude quick. And I'm usually not nice. The only reason I did it is because it was like family, right? It's family that Mariah really likes and shit like that. Hold on. I won't flash it on here, but let me tell you some of this. If it'll fucking load. I usually don't take time being nice to anybody. I just did it out of respect for Mariah. Boy, was that a fucking mistake. Is it going to load? Okay, there it is. So, again, they put something like, if you vote for anybody other than Trump, you're voting against your own best interests. I can't believe whatever their comment was. And I just deleted it rather than responding. I thought that was the nice thing to do, right? They said, did I strike a nerve on my don't vote for Kamala comment? Kind of weird comment to delete. Whatever, man. I supported you from the start of your show. I've stuck up for you multiple times when family talked about you. You're now deleting comments that are just showing concern for you and your family. Now, a concern comment after a natural disaster is not, you're voting wrong. That Trump would say, that's not a concern. That's fucking concern trolling. If I offended you in some way, that wasn't my intention. You're obviously gone through a lot and you're still young in life, and I can't imagine how it feels. Now they're playing like I've been through more than you because I've got age on you bullshit. If you're that cold-hearted, that's the next line. If you're that cold-hearted or don't like another man sending love your way. Now, again, the post they made was like, if you don't vote for Trump, you're voting against your own best interest, blah, blah, right? Then they said, if you're that cold, they're having a fucking mental breakdown. If I would have been in the room with them and they'd have fucking spoke to me like this, we'd been done, right? That'd been the last goddamn family meeting we ever had. If you're that cold-hearted or don't like another man sending love your way, then just say it. I'm sick of all the BS from everyone in the family. I'm sick of people hiding their feelings. This is why there are so many fucked up people in this world. I refuse to hide my feelings, and if that upsets you, then so be it. I've been a pretty open book my whole life, and sorry, but this hiding feelings shit is ridiculous. Anyway, seriously, in all caps. Please take care. Sorry if that offends you. Unfucking believable. That's the message I got for deleting a comment on my own post that was about FEMA that they made political. What the fuck? So then I said, first of all, you need to back the fuck off. I typed up a response this morning to your comment, decided it wasn't worth it between family, and deleted my goddamn response and your comment too. Didn't want to be told how I should vote after I spend thousands of hours researching the topics and being the most well-researched person in this thread, and then being told how I should vote. But if you want to come here with a fucking attitude and accusations of cold-hearted or some other bullshit like that, I can play that fucking game too. I'm not going to fight a flood, fight for my family, and fight in the fucking comment sections over a political post when I was asking about disaster relief. It was clearly a loaded political post. Hope your family is doing well on top of it. I don't have anything to hide. I thought it better to move along rather than respond and save the hurt feelings. Now, if you want to start over and talk without throwing out some goddamn accusation, without throwing some goddamn accusations my way, that's cool too. And if you want to end this here, cool. But no other man is going to come at me like you just fucking did. I don't know what exactly is going on with you that you think it is okay to address me in this way and expect anything good to come back in my response. But this ain't it, Chief. Again, I deleted the post to stop the fighting, hurt feelings, and even coming back to service with 50 notifications. I didn't have service at the time, so I was just, when I would come to town, I would get service. Coming back into service with 50 notifications of a back and forth. Deleted my dickhead response too. So if you want to start over, that's cool. I'm 1,000% on board. But this is fucking unacceptable to me. Full stop. If you don't want to start over, then move the fuck along and take your cold-hearted and I took up for you so I could use that as leverage in an argument someplace else. Also, a simple, why did you delete my comment? Probably would have worked and resolved this, but I guess we're past that now after you jumped in feet first. Damn, I was fucking pissed, dude. So fucking pissed. Then they go into like, okay, I thought you were a free speech absolutist. Who the fuck told you that? They lied. He says, you really don't know me then, William. I even said I don't care who you vote for. You obviously know I quit following along with your show because you were wasting your time with QAnon shit, my opinion. You've obviously grown the show by doing it, so to each their own. So I'm obviously lost with your whole situation. For you to think I don't care about you guys is wrong. My comment wasn't intended to start a debate. It's a public forum, and I was stating my opinion. For you to take it as a slight, like me saying I'm smarter than you, was not my intention. You didn't delete the comment that started the whole thing. That was a comment that just said vote Trump, and I said I'd rather vote for a flood first. You didn't delete the comment that started the whole thing, did you? Why even delete a comment in the first place? Ignore it. It's a public forum, right? I thought you were all about free speech, bro. It's whatever, I guess. For you to think I was trying to start some shit, man, what the fuck? I'm fucking sorry for all you've gone through, but you don't know me. It's like dealing with a diva. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. No one does, because no one cares to. Now no one cares about me. It says, but you don't know me. No one does, because no one cares to, and I'm okay with that. It is what it is, I guess. That's one thing you're not good at, thinking you're being attacked when someone disagrees with you. Why do I care at this point? It's just a waste of time. Again, and I put this in all caps, I don't give a fuck what you said in your comment. You will not speak to me the way you fucking did in this message afterwards. That is where I am. Do what you got to do. Like, I'm past the comment. He could have commented, suck my dick now, but the way he addressed me when he come into my goddamn private messages, then this was the gaslighting, the fucking, I couldn't take it anymore. Where's all this hate coming from, bro? Why all the caps? I'm not even attacking you. Why are you taking it that way? I was showing my concern and posted it under a stupid political comment. Again, his showing concern was, if you vote Trump, you're voting against your own best interest, right? I don't know or care who you vote for. I've done my research. You've done yours. No one has out-researched the other. Wrong. You vote for who you think is best for you and your family. I don't know why you think I'm attacking you. I was just wondering why my comment was deleted. I got the answer. I'll move on. Jeez. So now he's the victim. Full on, he's the victim. Right? I said, Mariah's the one who keeps me calm. Call her. She's astonished you thought it was fucking okay to send a message to me like this. It's fucking not. I would have told anyone else to get fucked or punch them in the goddamn mouth. Read your fucking message over a deleted comment. I didn't do a fucking thing wrong. You did. And then he comes back. I understand, bro. So he says he understands as if he's going to take responsibility for the way he entered my inbox. Nope. He says, I understand, bro. You've changed. Then he says, I've changed. Just not used to you deleting comments is all. You're entitled to, and I'm allowed to call you out on it. Just know it was heartfelt and not to start a fight or debate. Again, the comment he put wasn't like, are you okay? Did you survive the flood? Are you good at swimming now? Is the road back? How many trees are down? Do you have power? Do you have food? Do you have water? It was, voting for Trump is, not voting for Trump is against your own best interest. It was heartfelt and not trying to start a fight or debate. I know my place and wouldn't have turned your situation into a debate. I wouldn't have even responded to a political response from my family. Just stated my opinion and moved on. No, you didn't. Or you would have never known. Facebook does not send you a notification. So here's his claim to state his opinion and move on. When a comment is deleted of yours, Facebook doesn't send you a notification that says, Will Bird deleted your comment in this thread, right? So what happened was when he stated his opinion and moved on, he came back to that post to see if anybody had responded. Even after getting 0 notifications, he came back to that post, scrolled down and saw his missing comment, and then thought he would enter my fucking inbox like that. Fuck that. Fucking talk to me like that. And all he had to say, like, I wasn't even mad when it all started. If he'd have just said, hey, did you delete my comment? I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to do politics right now. Like, we're in the middle of a hurricane. No harm, no foul. But this motherfucker. Anyways, back to the video. That was a little side drama.
Context to the thing that you guys are just talking about.
You don't know anything about the Hillary Clinton connection, do you?
The Hillary Clinton connection as it relates to
cube.
The only thing that I didn't make a connection between. Yeah, let's move on. So
he took a couple shots at my show. He took a couple shots at like no one's out researched it. I did my research, kind of fucking stupid shit. I think you're wasting your time covering QAnon stuff.
The conversation was about when I was listening about vaccines and about COVID and who's more corrupt between Trump and...
You were brought on specifically to substantiate the claim that BlackRock sent an email to...
No, I didn't come on to substantiate that claim.
You can't substantiate that, right? Is that fair?
I never made that claim.
Okay. So Mike, he never made that claim. Back up. What else did you want to discuss?
So we were talking about the corruption, the difference in corruption during COVID and having vested interests in vaccines and things like, Elon Musk and Twitter and that being a huge conflict of interest. I wanted to make mention that comparatively speaking, between Donald Trump and Elon...
Destiny went to piano time.
Musk versus the people who were actually involved with the vaccine manufacturing and people who had the higher vested interests, it's those people over Donald Trump and Elon Musk by far. And we can talk about every single company that you want to talk about. If we want to talk about Gilead, if we want to talk about NYU Langone, where fucking Larry Fink of BlackRock is vice chairman, and they buy up all these hospitals, all these assisted living facilities, and they control the protocols and the drugs.
What's your claim, sir?
My claim is that they are far more corrupt as far as having vested interests in COVID and vaccines and literally every other industry that we can talk about that this election was predicated on.
So Gilead has interest in vaccines.
Gilead has interest in remdesivir, which when we were talking about Palantir earlier, Alex Karp, Peter Thiel, and basically AKA Gilman Louie's company, they knew that remdesivir was toxic back in March. On March 8th, there's an email, and you guys can check the fucking...
Hey, I'm just curious, if these guys have so much power and they knew that why didn't they just buy the rights to hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin and resell it in the United States?
They knew it was ineffective, or they knew that remdesivir was ineffective.
Why didn't they just buy the rights and sell it? If hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin worked, why wouldn't they just buy the rights to that and exclusively sell it in the U.S.?
Because they needed the protection of the EUA. not the. They didn't need like it wasn't so much as about.
Why did they need the EUA? Why couldn't they just sell it as like a
liability protection? For
if they're so powerful they can do this, why can't they just get liability protections from the government? Well, actually, why couldn't they just get EUA to do this as a prescription for COVID? They don't need if these are medications that are approved for other things. That doesn't necessarily mean they can use to treat COVID, but they can get EUA for COVID treatment. No.
No, what I'm saying is, so March 8th, they find out from.
I'm not asking. Yes, I'm asking. Why wouldn't they just say we have emergency use authorization for these medications to be used for COVID?
Which medications are you talking about?
Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine.
They pulled them off the market because an EUA requires that there's no other.
Wait, EUA requires.
Are you going to interrupt me every time I answer the question? I'm answering his
EUA
question.
requires what?
An EUA requires no other effective, already widely disseminated, available therapy.
There was no effective.
Yes, there was.
What?
Hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin.
No.
We have the emails.
No, wait. I'm asking. Why didn't they just buy the distribution rights to ivermectin?
Because they had their own drugs, remdesivir.
Why would they want to use their own drugs when they just buy up the rights to hydroxychloroquine?
Because they could profiteer on the more expensive medication. This is not difficult.
Oh, okay.
Pick it up and sell it. Well, it is difficult because it's a baseless conspiracy. Why
It's
wouldn't
not
they just?
baseless.
It is
I have
baseless. That last bull you tried to just do with the BlackRock. You've come in and you're wisely not defending.
Yeah, covering Q built. He even says that. He's like, but I guess you built your audience off of it. So.
But that was the only reason why you were brought in here, okay? No, I know, but it's equally retarded, okay? Like, why? No other country in the world has called out anybody on trying to falsely market remdesivir to American citizens. Why would we even do that? Why would the government even allow that to happen? Why would we poison our own citizens with our own pharmaceutical companies?
Yeah, that's a great fucking question, isn't it?
Wait, what's the answer? What's the answer?
Alex, profiteering and because of fucking eugenics, and we have the proof of it.
Why would you eugenics and profiteer are the only people in your own society that are listening to you? That's like the worst.
Let's start here. Where did COVID come from?
Back up. Do you believe that?
No. Where did COVID come from?
Chinese bioweapons labs from people that believe in dinosaurs. Yeah.
From people that believe in dinosaurs?
Yeah, they made
what does that have to do with anything? No, it came from Genentech, 23andMe, and fucking Ginkgo Bioworks and Invitel.
True. Why do you try to did you support Donald Trump in this election?
Are you going to redirect everything?
Well, yeah, because we're looking for people that support. Well, yeah, it's literally a MAGA conversation, you dipshit. Of course, I'm redirecting to that. That's the point of the.
Okay, so every time you ask a question, you're just gonna like in the middle of my answer, you're gonna redirect. Did you support Donald Trump? I didn't vote for Trump in 2020.
Okay, there you go. So these are two non-Trump supporters. So why the fuck are we?
But I voted for him in 2024.
Why would this billionaire guy? Why would this guy be the one to end the global conspiracy? He's a literal billionaire. He is the elite.
Because the alternative is literally the people that knocked down the World Trade Center towers.
What, you don't think that Donald Trump wasn't involved?
Ooh.
I know for a fact that he wasn't. The two people that are the.
How do you know for doesn't this guy? Isn't he the most Israeli cucked? Wait, be honest. Isn't Donald Trump the most pro-Israeli cucked president we've had in forever?
Of all time.
Incorrect.
Really?
Joe Biden has received more pro-Israeli dollars of all.
I'm not thinking about pro-Israeli dollars. Donald Trump doesn't need the dollars. Donald Trump doesn't need the dollars. He's a billionaire. Donald Trump doesn't need the dollars. He's a billionaire. Didn't Donald Trump move that embassy and give him a big thumbs up? Didn't he say that Israel's the best country in the world for us to support?
Moving the embassy to Jerusalem affects any of our lives. How?
Israel or not?
It affects the lives of the people over there. What do you mean? It gives legitimacy to the Israeli government.
Is the space about being pro-Israel, or is it the space about like Donald Trump being the worst candidate for America?
It seems like your vote. You have a problem against Israel, right? You don't like Israel. Fair?
I don't like the things that.
Do you like Israel or not? You can hate Israel. You hate Israel. Be honest.
That's why I'm asking where COVID came from. Because if you answered honestly and you understood, I like.
You spineless.
I don't like the fact that Jews engaged in biological terrorism against global non-Jews, and we have the receipts on that shit too. And if you would like to discuss where COVID actually came from, instead of just being a like ad hom, we can have a serious conversation.
True.
COVID came from China. Okay, let's talk about China. Who set that shit up? That was set up by David Rubenstein and Laureen Sperling from Duke University and Carlisle Group at Duke Kunshan University in Wuhan. Who the f are they? They're both Mossad Jews.
Holy shit! Not the Mossad Jews.
To Benjamin Netanyahu, who's going to do everything Benjamin Netanyahu asked for. How does that feel?
Oops. Okay, I accidentally moved I can't.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
All right, listen. We're gonna figure out our next spaces.
Damn it, bro. Damn, that got heated quick. All the gamer words come out and everything. That's the part I wanted to get to.
This is how I don't even know, bro. These people are crazy. And now that the election is over, I think now they're gonna be even more crazy because they have like. Yeah. Remember the worst part of the election outcome is that kind of legitimizes like all this insanity. So now people can be a little bit more mask off. But listen, it's been fun.
Oh, are we done?
I'm done. I can only.
Wait. Let's do one more.
Yeah, go for it.
One more caller.
Okay, one more guy who's like, oh yeah, I guess Trump would be worse in every single one of these regards. True.
Yeah. Lisa Grande. Lisa, save us.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up?
Is there? I guess there's probably tons of MAGA in here. So I wanted to ask, hey Truther, I wanted to ask any Trump voter to tell me what they think that Donald Trump is going to do to lower grocery prices in January. Because it sounds like they think that there's going to be like free eggs and bread's going to be $1 and gas is going to be $2. And I want them to tell me what he's going to do with grocery prices that Biden could have done, but he didn't do.
Thanks for that question, Lisa. Well, I'm going to direct that to Daniel, who I just brought in. Daniel, you were asked a question about prices.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I came in here to hear two people have a discussion, Destiny and my good friend Backup. And you guys, Pisco, first of all, you're ruining it by keep interjecting. You should let Destiny and the other guy have an actual conversation.
Destiny kicked him. That's not on me.
Well, then he's a pussy ass and everybody here agrees on that because he ran. So you shouldn't run, dude.
How do you feel about Donald Trump embracing and having homosexuals? No. How do you feel about Donald Trump having homosexuals in his cabinet?
Dude, I don't care.
Oh no, not the homosexuals in his cabinet.
you don't care about homosexuals in the cabinet?
There's nothing I can do about it. What can I do?
Do you agree with it or do you disagree with it?
I don't care. I don't think that sexuality.
So you're indifferent about whether or not there are gay people in the cabinet?
Yeah, I think that sexuality shouldn't have any role. Someone's sexuality shouldn't mean anything.
Okay, what about the amount of Jews that he's bringing into the cabinet?
I have no problem with Jews. I have a problem with Zionists. So that is a problem for me.
Oh, that is a problem for you because Donald Trump is supported by Benjamin Netanyahu. He's supported by big pro-Israeli donors. Everyone understands that
Get
he's
me out. I'm ready to leave. Get me out of here. Please let me get out of here. Oh, God. It's too much.
I am and I'm not.
Okay, so do you think that it's okay for a rabbi named Solomon Friedman?
I don't know who that person is.
Do you think he's representing the Jews?
I don't know who that person is. I don't know who that person is. I don't know who that person is.
I can tell you who he is. He owns.
Well, I'm not going to take your.
No, but it's
the facts.
Well, you won't let me talk. So how do you know if what I'm about to say is right or not? He owns the largest pornography company in the world.
Oh no, the Jews doing pornography, not that.
I would like for all religious institutions to start by calling out the bigotry within their own group or sect before you ask me if I'm okay with him having Israelites or it's in his administration.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you don't like gay people, and it sounds like you don't like pro-Israeli people. Is that fair?
I think you're a.
I asked you, do you like gay people or not?
I have friends who are gay, and I think you're a.
Yeah, so you don't like gay people, you don't like pro-Israeli people.
Gamer words, boys. Gamer words.
Gay people in very high positions, and who is having pro-Israeli people in very high positions.
It's not pro-Israeli.
Oh, it is, my friend. Oh, it is.
No, it's not, because if what you were saying was true, then the articles that came out in the Jerusalem Post earlier this year stating that Netanyahu has less than 30% support of the Israeli people.
So he's calling them the F slur for homosexuals, but saying he has homosexual friends and he doesn't care as long as they're qualified.
Trump has like 70% approval in Israel, you idiot.
Yeah, but Netanyahu does not.
Everyone.
By the way, the person who told Atsuko, the person she knew was clearly Japanese, to go eat some rice or something, contacted me again and said that they had a mixed great grand relative or whatever. I was wondering if their mixed great relative got into a discussion with somebody online and they told them to go eat some fucking watermelon and fried chicken, if they'd be like, oh, that's a funny joke there. That is a real funny joke. I just thought, black people do eat watermelon and fried chicken, I'm sure. So their excuse for it was, I used to work with an Asian lady and she ate so much rice, it was hilarious. So I figured go eat some rice or something was giving her some good advice.
Everyone understands that Trump is going to be the most pro-Israel person that there possibly is. And so it's so... Did you hear the first caller? The first caller was so thankful that Trump was elected because he's going to be so pro-Jewish. Do you think these people are stupid?
It's not about Jewish. It's about Zion.
Oh, yeah, pro-Israeli. The first caller was ecstatic. He said, I'm so happy that Trump's elected. He's going to be so pro-Israel. Bibi said the same thing. But do you think these people are stupid? I have to ask.
No, I think that they're misguided. They're not intelligent.
Piano time.
They don't know enough about the situation to have an opinion on it. So
sounds like Bibi. I think that Bibi, if we're being honest, Bibi might know a little bit more about what is in his own interest than you do. I think that's
all I would like, and I think Trump is going to accomplish this, and this is why I voted for him, is I would like for Israel and Palestine, mainly Israel, because they're killing far more people than the Palestinians killed Israelites, to stop fucking killing children. And I think that Trump is going to accomplish that.
All right, thanks for the comment. Thanks. Do you have any final words?
What I've never heard, I have a final word. What I've never heard someone like Destiny say, maybe he has said it, I would like for him to say it right now, is that those motherfuckers should stop killing children.
Which who?
That Netanyahu and the IDF should stop slaughtering children.
Oof, I've actually decided to take the pro-children slaughter stance, so I'm sorry, I can't make that commitment here. I'm so sorry. I'm just like a big, because that's why I support Donald Trump. I like all the drone strikes in Yemen. I like the war going on. You're kind of like, I'm a huge fan of I love Donald Trump and all the, like when Donald Trump says we should like kill terrorist families and stuff, I'm big on that. Deporting immigrant children and all that, the most anti-children positions possible.
I feel like we were looping on that one, so I kicked them.
What? Okay.
And last but not least, Cash with the last dollar.
In this room. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I've never found your space before. Is this normal?
We can't hear you. What are you saying?
He said he just found our space. Is this normal?
Hello? Trumpers, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Just fix your mics.
It's Biden's internet, bro. This is what net neutrality gives you.
Cash, what's up? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. You're not hearing me?
Now we can. What's up?
Okay. Don't know what's going on there. All right, so that was really intense. From all the phone calls. I hadn't discovered your space before, but I had this space down. I wasn't know it was missing, but they were asking about food prices and what Trump was going to do different than Biden.
Yeah, that was Lisa.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So start with, were things cheaper under Trump than under Biden?
Things were cheaper under Trump.
Yeah, great. So what is he going to do different now that Biden didn't do is that he's going to bring back to our drilling from home at first, for one.
Wait, don't we already drill at home though? Also, wait, just checking real quick. Were you younger under Trump or were you younger under Biden?
That's not the same comparison.
I didn't say it was. I was just asking. I was curious. Were you younger under Trump or were you younger under Biden?
I'm not sure what your point is.
I'm not making. I'm just literally just asking a question. Were you younger when Trump was president or were you younger when Biden was president?
Because it's a really silly question. So is this what we're going to go through?
It was just a really easy question. Were you younger under Trump or were you younger under Biden?
I got plenty of other things to do. So if
okay. Are you? Were you when you? Oh, he left. Wow. Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Under Biden, Trump was going to do different than Biden.
Yeah, that was Lisa.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So start with were things cheaper under Trump than under Biden?
Things were cheaper under Trump.
Yeah, great. So what is he going to do different now that Biden didn't do is that he's going to bring back to our drilling from home at first for one.
Wait, don't we already drill at home though? Also, wait, just checking real quick. Were you younger under Trump or were you younger under Biden?
Right. It's not relevant to say stuff was cheaper under Trump, right? We had COVID ending, the logistical nightmare, global inflation. If our president is causing something, we typically won't see it at much higher rates than every other country in the world.
That's not the same comparison.
I didn't say it was. I was just asking. I was curious. Were you younger under Trump or were you younger under Biden?
I'm not sure what your point is.
I'm not making. I'm just literally just asking a question. Were you younger when Trump was president or were you younger when Biden was president?
Because it's a really silly question. So is this what we're going to go through?
It was just a really easy question. Were you younger under Trump or were you younger under Biden?
I got plenty of other things to do. So if
okay. Were you when you? Oh, he left. Wow. Geez. What a. Yeah. How unfortunate that he didn't understand that time moves in one direction. How unfortunate for that guy. Man, it's crazy to be brain broken, which is such a simple question. I can't believe that. His entire fucking reality fell apart before his eyes with a very simple question of was he younger than Trump? I just wanted to know. I was just curious. Jesus
Christ. All right, folks. Well,
nobody's going to answer the grocery question? I mean,
there is no answer to the grocery question, Lisa. The reality is, the answer you don't want to hear is that they don't need to worry about groceries being cheaper because they're all going to live off of Elon and Trump's nutsack. They're just going to drink his cum all day long, and that's all the daily nutrients. And there you go. Boom. All right. Peace out. Any final thoughts before
final thoughts. MAGA's not sending their best.
Who is this person that just got put in? Why? Little Desert Flower. Wow. Are you making these people speakers? You must be.
No. I don't know what's happening. My
it was probably an accident.
How are you doing, Little Desert Flower?
Oh, hello. Am I still on?
Yeah, you're on. What do you got for us?
Oh, I don't know why he picked me. I had requested it, but you guys sounded like you were signing off. I just wanted to say that was hilarious. You're totally right. Like, people don't understand how economics works. Like that, what that guy was saying. I liked your point, Destiny. And Trump is going to be absolutely terrible for Palestinians. And it kills me that so many people were fooled into cutting off their noses to spite their faces by refusing to support Harris.
True.
Okay. It's a great caller to end on.
Wow, true. Okay.
That was a pretty good debate. That was a pretty good debate. All right, guys, that's it for me. I still got to ride the one wheel in. It's taking a cold snap here. I did get a heater installed in the side-by-side because the boys, I drove the car in last night. It's a little sketch, but I figured, it's going to be cold in the morning. Maybe the boys would rather ride in the car because the side-by-side has a heater in it now, but it's not sealed up, right? It's still the best you can do, but it's still an off-road, like, recreational vehicle. So a lot of wind comes through, but they prefer the side-by-side. They don't like driving across the real narrow part of the road. I guess it freaks them out or whatever. So they prefer the side-by-side. I threw a heater into it, just a little 12 volts, 400 watt, like ceramic heater, just to keep them warm because they still got to take it in and out. And I got to ride the one wheel in tonight. I'll probably bundle up. The fit for this video was the Disaster Man merch that Itsuko will not release to anybody else. Apparently she decides who gets it and who doesn't get it. And she's been sending it to other people, but there's no way to purchase it, get it, buy it, retrieve it, order it from China with a bowl of rice. There's no way to get this amazing Disaster Man, one wheel, 2 gas cans. I think she made me fatter, okay? I've lost almost 60 pounds today, and look at that belly. Look what she did to me. She put me in some type of sports bra and then put that belly on me. I think she made my belly bigger to fit the logo. She wanted to downsize the logo. What is that, a billboard, Atsuko? Huh. Anyways, not available. Can't buy it. Atsuko is the only way to get it. If you want Disaster Man merch, harass Atsuko. I don't know what to tell you, okay? Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. I'd say I love you, but I don't. So, see you on the next one. I only love my bed and my mama.
Douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit.
You got to order directly through Japanese Itsuko. She has her own sweatshop in China where she actually lives.
I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus.
Destiny's such a good debater. I need to, I guess, if I want to up engagement, I think I'm going to have to do TikTok debates. I thought about, here's a spin nobody's doing. What if I do TikTok debates or TikTok conversations with other MAGA as a fake MAGA infiltrator and just get them to admit to the stupid shit Trump has said and will never deliver on? Like, what about that cats and dogs thing? You know that's not real, right? And just see if I can get them to get it. After buttering them up some, like, hey man, we're having a Klan rally at my house. You want to come over, or whatever they enjoy. And for those still watching that claim they don't because I'm a grifter, fuck Donald Trump. Bring him on as if we're going to discuss Trump's policies and then just act like I'm really confused. What is his policy on bringing groceries down? I don't remember. Have a good night, guys. Hello, fella maggots.